Hello, hello, good evening, everyone. It is another episode of FEM Talk coming up tonight. You know what time it is? It is FEM Talk Tuesday. And you know, we don't disappoint on this show. So we have a great show for you this evening. So without further ado, I am going to bring in the beautiful ladies of FEM Talk. We have Shima She Talks.
Hello, everybody.
We have Brandy the Disconnector.
What's up, everyone?
And we have Mimi Melissa Girl Boss Up.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello. And waiting backstage, we have two beautiful guests waiting backstage. And we're going to get into that conversation very soon with the two beautiful ladies that we have here tonight. However, everybody, you know how we start this show.
Hot topic.
So, Brandy, kick off our hot topic for this evening.
So y'all know me. I'll be scrolling through the news, making sure the world isn't imploding around us. And today I happen upon a story by CNN. So one of these valid news networks about the FDA issuing an advisory to young folks participating in a challenge in which kids are boiling or roasting chicken in NyQuil. What?
Right.
I gotta get real close to
going on here because
look.
that just seems like
put the real glasses on.
Right. But like NyQuil is already disgusting at its very core, and you're marinating and roasting chicken in it. I'm like, who does this?
Right. Yeah. So the more disturbing part of that is when you heat NyQuil, right, to certain degrees and temperatures, it's dangerous. It's toxic.
Mm-hmm.
So why?
It's alcohol
component changes.
Right.
And so, I mean, did you taste NyQuil and chicken and thought, these two would be good together? Who does that? Who thought that? You know,
wasn't there a time when kids thought that they could get drunk off of NyQuil? So
and Robitussin. But
Robitussin. Going to college, that's what we took.
What is the origin of this type of challenge, though? Is nobody asking questions? Because it's like at this point, like, is it really that serious, y'all? You dying to be popular?
Because you can just
these challenges people are getting trends now. These challenges are trends now, so they're coming up with different challenges that they do, every month or every few months. There was challenges before where kids in school were challenged to do certain things while they were in school. So they're just going around, especially with TikTok. It's been happening a lot.
That whole steal a Kia or a Hyundai challenge going around too. I'm like, who does this?
Yeah.
We've got I think it's to your point.
The Tide Pods. Definitely.
Right. Thank you.
Eating the Tide Pods. But I think it's this sensationalism of and becoming famous on TikTok and
let me be viral.
Who
literally going down trying to go viral,
going viral. It's almost like back in the day playing the dozens. Who can top who?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the I think that's the version, but it's the virtual version now. Who can top?
Bring back the good old dance fight? Come on, man.
Right. Well, shoot,
dance battles.
Back in the day when you played chicken, didn't the one who win chicken was the one who got hit by the car and died? Exactly.
So you won. Well, you know what they say: play stupid games, get stupid prizes.
Yeah, and there are usually casualties, right? When these challenges happen, often there are usually casualties, and that's not what we want to see, especially with our young people. So, wisen up. And I mentioned this backstage, but I have to say this here on air because there was, a newscaster that said, lock these things up. But these are not little kids. These are teenagers that are normally doing these challenges. So you need to just talk to your children, not adults.
It's an opportunity too, because think about it. Chemistry class might be a little more interactive if you teach these kids, hey, you heat up NyQuil, it turns into this. You do not want to ingest it.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, I just think it's to your point, stop following the crowd, be your own self, be your individual, and use some wisdom. And it's easy to say. I got 3 kids. It's not always easy to implement. I would be lying to say I didn't have my children make silly decisions when they were kids. And you do need to talk to them, remind them. You mentioned playing chicken. Years ago when I was a teenager, a family friend died playing chicken. Young teenage boy. And, and like you said, there's consequences. And we shouldn't have to be taking any child to the hospital or burying any of our children because they decided to be silly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Absolutely not. And I was talking to Shima about this the other day, but I use like certain things that are out there. It could be TV shows, whatever that is, to take the opportunity to talk to my son about what's happening in the world. I don't try to, kind of keep him hidden from what's happening in the world because he's going to hear it. He's in high school, so he's going to hear it no matter what. So I'd rather be the person talking to him about what's happening in the world versus somebody at school or somebody that he may meet on the street. No, he's going to be wiser from me first, right? And know how to handle those situations. So even when it comes to certain TV shows, let's talk about it. Let's sit down and watch it together and talk about the things that are happening on those shows that are wrong. Because listen, he's in high school, he's going to want to see certain things. So I'm going to sit there and I'm going to watch it with you, and we're going to take this as a teaching moment also.
Most definitely. And that's why I love when you share stuff like that, sis, because at the end of the day, like you among all the aunties on here, I'm gonna be tapping for advice all the time when my little people get here.
Come on, I got you covered. Listen, nothing is perfect, right? And your kids will have to make their own decisions, but you have to talk to them. You have to. This world is crazy enough. And they don't need to try to decipher everything on their own. Talk to them about what's going on in the world. So I definitely use the
and stay abreast of what's going on too, because these challenges can be extremely detrimental. They seem harmless until it hits home.
Yeah, and you know what? When you sent that to me, I said, "Hey, Jordan, have you heard about this? Because we're going to talk about it now." Like the other day, we were in the car, and he mentioned to me the change in the Illinois law, which is another thing that we need to talk about. But I want to research it first.
That purge law?
Yeah, well, what they're calling the purge law is not technically a purge law, but yes. Oh, we take the opportunity to talk about these things. But and he told me about that one. He saw it before I did. So listen. Got to talk to those kids. But all right, ladies, we have 2 beautiful guests waiting backstage. So we're going to play a quick commercial. And then Mimi, I want you to, before we go to commercial, introduce the beautiful ladies that are backstage. And then once the commercial's over, we're going to get into the conversation for the evening.
Oh, thank you. I am one of the people backstage is my bestie, Miss Charlene Blunt, and most of you know her as she was on the show before for Marriage, and she is my bestie. But what many people don't know her, she is a very highly decorated, as I call it, very successful educator. Has a master's degree in education, and has been president of her own organization, and has in the last few years broken out and as an entrepreneur, and now she supports many educational programs. It was through this process that and at a leadership conference that she met Dr. Shakira. And immediately they bonded. We know that God, always creates situations for us, puts us in front of people we need to be in front of. Yeah. And they started that relationship. And Dr. Shakira has done some amazing things. You don't often hear somebody who talks about starting their own university. So she, in the last couple of years, through COVID, started her own university virtual, and offers a plethora of amazing course loads and opportunities to get your bachelor's, master's, and doctorate. So tonight we have these 2 amazing women who have launched this amazing endeavor for anyone, but especially those that they can reach. us, the populations of people who may be thinking of going back to school, here is your opportunity tonight. So when we come from commercial, I'm just so excited to give them the opportunity to share the possibilities of people continuing their education through their university. So
yay! Woo! All right, we're going to go to commercial break, and then we are coming back to bring on our guests. I was backstage jamming to your commercial.
Girl boss from events. Mimi, you're covering my baby shower, right?
Got it.
All right.
Yes. So everybody out there, let's give a virtual round of applause for our guests coming on tonight. We have Char, the bestie, and we have Dr. Shakira.
Yes.
Move, you beautiful
Welcome, ladies.
Yes. Welcome to FEM Talk. Welcome back, Char, and welcome, Dr. Shakira. Thank you for being here.
So excited. So excited. So excited.
And we're just gonna show some love to the audience out there. We've got Aunt Jeanette out there, who is Shima's mommy. Hey, Mom.
Hello, Mama.
And we have the beautiful Laura Cabrera as well out there.
Hey, Laura, what's up, bro?
Laura was a guest on the show as well. All right. And Mom and Jeanette is giving a round of applause. So we thank you for that. So we just want to get into this conversation. Dr. Shakira and Char, talk to us a little bit about your, kind of your dreams and goals around this university. How did this all come about?
So I guess I'll jump in first. Hello, everyone out there. Dr. Chimera here. And I would just say, oh, man, as a mom of two boys, just one day in prayer, making a decision that I wanted to go a different way in my career. I'm a HR executive. And I found myself just praying, just talking to God about my dissatisfaction and which way he wanted me to go. And he led me to go into theology and education to pursue a master's and a PhD, a doctorate degree. And I was thinking I was going to be a professor. And as I got closer to graduation, he inspired me and just directly told me, I want you to start a university.
Wow.
I live in New York City. The first thing I thought was Columbia University, and I just not possible. But things unfolded. I continued to pray about it, and I would say the first thing I did was commit to it. Once I committed, it didn't matter how long it took. It didn't matter how much it was going to cost. It was just going to happen.
So I have a question for you. Talk to us about that surrender, to that, because I'm sure there were some challenges that went along with that. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was realizing that it really wasn't a request. And I think sometimes when the Lord kind of directs you and tells you to do something, sometimes we take it as his opinion or his advice. And I learned really quickly that I was going to do it or I was going to do it. Right. And so, I committed because I pretty much felt in my spirit that there really was no other choice. Like, this is what I'm telling you to do. And so I was like, oh, okay, I got the memo. And so I just started started on my way, started from the research, went through a lot of rejection. And yeah, I just kept going. I think that was the objective, is that he told me to do it. So obviously he's going to make a way for me to get to the finish line.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. So I trusted in that. And that gave me a lot of confidence. It gave me confidence to do some things that people would never probably do, like blow my entire pension and other things, because I knew that it was a command, and I knew that it was going to be successful, not just because of me or anything that I was bringing, but it was more about, if I just followed his plan and his blueprint and what he was telling me to do, then it would be successful.
Yeah. Wow. Oof, that's good stuff.
That's
Powerful.
extremely powerful. And Shakira, Dr. Shakira, listening to you, immediately I'm thinking, and look at God. To your point, you said it wasn't a command. It wasn't a suggestion. It was a command. But you said something so significant. You said, "But He'll bring it together for you," and I don't find it not even in one bit surprising that now a Charlene would come into your life, who also through command opened up her own business when she was also looking to start, looking to end the corporate side of things, and the Lord placed in her heart, well, open this school. So I don't find it, I find, and then put you at a conference at the same table. God has that kind of ability to bring everything together so that, to your point, success is not an option. It's going to work.
Yeah.
It's going to come to pass. I just find that amazing. Amazing.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so I have oh, go ahead, Shar.
No. Go with the question. You guys know I'm long-winded, so I would wait. I will wait for the question.
I was just going to ask, for the audience too, and for myself as well, what does it entail? I mean, because when you said, that's what my thinking would have been too, like, oh, Columbia University, like, God, what, you're giving this to me? Like, what does it all entail to bring this all together?
Ooh, you know, there's a beginning before the beginning, right? And so the beginning I had to work through was my mindset.
Yes.
And so I had to do it very quickly. And so in my prayer time and in investing in myself, so I took a year to invest in myself. I probably spent about maybe $15,000 investing in my own mindset. And so I would fly to Atlanta a lot. I would go to a lot of business conferences, ET conferences. I just started to invest in a lot of books. And I really needed to deal with my mindset, because I had a lot to overcome very, very quickly in order to get it done. And so I needed to also take those leaps of faith, because in order for me to be willing to ask someone to invest in a product that I was producing, I needed to be willing to make that type of investment as well.
Yes.
And so I needed to grow really, really quickly.
Wow.
And so that was the pre-work. And then when I got to a place of confidence in my identity and in the identity of the one who called me, then I was able to kind of start on a level standing. And I just kind of, if you want to see starting a university as a big like a table, I just bit off piece by piece by piece. It in my mindset, I didn't have an end date. I didn't have an end date.
So
I
good.
would keep going. If it was 10 years, if it was 5 years, I would have just kept going until I got to the finish line. And so I would say working through that, there were times that I would get to a stop and I would negotiate with, someone of a person of color, and they would give me one price, and I would think that that was harsh, and then I would go to a Caucasian person who would want to charge me 3 times, and so even that was a lesson in my mindset about supporting my own people
Mm.
and realizing that you know quote unquote like white like all just get out of my head and what I've been taught or brainwashed with,
Mhm. Mhm.
really look for God and look for quality and
Mm.
look for things that I can also enhance. And so yeah, it was a road. I would, get before God and say, I can't do this or I can't find this. And then it would just come, divine connections would come, you know, thousands of dollars would be dropped into my account from like, I remember going to work and checking my account. And I had $11,000 in there, and I'm like, "What happened?" And everybody's like, "We got a sudden union raise," and I'm like, "Wait, what?" But I threw the whole 11,000 into the university. So like, he would just keep dropping this money and making the ways for
Mm.
me to keep moving forward. And so
Nice.
yeah, it was a lot. I lost friends, I lost, but even in that, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm getting to the goal.
Yeah. And God was skimming what didn't need to be there. And
Trimming
that's
the fat.
part of the journey. Yeah. Trimming the fat.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Trimming
That
it, yeah.
part.
You see Charlene's face, right? She can't.
No, she is so ready. Come on, Char. Come with it, Char.
She tells me all the time.
Before Charlene jumps in, I want you to bring out the name of the university, and I purposely didn't say it because I think it to hear the story now, the name just it seems almost perfect. But tell everybody the name of the university.
So the name of the university is called Exousia University. Exousia is the Greek word for authority. It's the word for power. Another understanding is that it's the right to privilege
There we
or
go.
Come
to
on.
Wow.
Come on.
and to have power over something.
Good.
Golly.
That's right. Ring the bell.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
So
That's
definitely
amazing.
You just
that
gave
is a
me
name.
chills.
Didn't it? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The right to
But
have
it
power and
explains
authority over something.
the authority. Because
It's
he gives us
privilege.
authority, and authority comes, why, he said, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. And I see so fitting for that authority to now be given as he gives us the knowledge, the information to now go forth. And like, as you went for your doctorate, now he said, okay, now, you know what I'm saying? Now you're prepared and you're ready for this next step. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And oh, chills. Yes. Yes.
Mhm. Mhm.
Woo, we just getting
Now
started,
listen,
y'all.
you don't make
I'm
Char wait
telling
no
you.
longer. Char, come on, Char.
Wait, so when's the next commercial break? Is it coming up?
I got something for you.
It will be coming up, but we're waiting till you
She said,
finish.
I gotta make sure I don't get interrupted in the
Right,
middle.
right.
Look, Brandy knows. But if I could just quickly just say a little bit about me. So I've been an educator probably 30 plus years. And I have to say that my undergraduate degree is not in education. It was in communication and broadcast journalism.
Mm.
It wasn't until, and I'll try to fast forward, it wasn't until I realized that my son in second grade could not read that I decided to I was going to go for my master's, but I did not know I was going to go for a master's in early childhood and special education. And in doing that, the whole special education opened up a whole new world of education. And so for a lot of years, I taught first grade. And then for a lot more years, I taught up to eighth grade. And it wasn't until I feel like I was promoted to actually now teach like college level. And one of my loves and passions is working with adults trying to get their high school diploma. On several different platforms. So I don't have to go into the different platforms, but that's what I do now. And I'm passionate about it. I'm good at it and I love it. If I can quickly share a little bit about how I even met Dr. Shakira, it boggles my mind to this day. So I get an email from somewhere, I don't know where, it was a private invitation to go to my church to a C4 leadership conference. Never heard of C4. I know that we do leadership conference, but never heard of it. I saw that my pastor was going to be one of the speakers. Bishop Bronner was going to be one of the speakers, and I loved them. I was just like, but why would I go? Because I don't know who sent it, and why would I go? Lord, this is what I said when I got it. So I ignored it, kind of deleted it, didn't think anything of it, because I'm going to a leadership conference. Why? So why the next week I get the same email, and it said private. This is, you can't share this email. This is for you. And I said to my mom, I said, Mom, I got the email again. There's something with this. I said, you know what, Lord? All right, I'm gonna pay it was only $25 to go to the conference, and it was at my church. And my pastor and Bishop Bronner, who I love to hear speak, they were gonna speak. So like, you know what? Let me pay the $25. I'm gonna go. Okay. The day comes. I go, and I'm thinking it's going to be some of my other parishioners or some of the other people that are on my team because I'm a leader there. And I get there, not one person on my team or in any other like leadership other than minister position was there. So I walked in, and you have to sign in. And I remember seeing people that I knew. They're like, Charlene, you're part of this group? And it struck me like, yeah, I guess I am. I was escorted into this intimate setting of, and my church is a huge church, but they were doing it in the gallery, which is like intimate. So when it's an intimate setting, they do stuff like in the gallery where there's like tables and candles on the tables. And I'm still looking for other people that I knew. Yeah, so I said, yes, I guess I am part of the group. So they escorted me in they all knew me, but they wasn't part of the group. They were serving us. That was funny to me. So I get there, I'm at this table, and I remember the Holy Spirit specifically saying, because I said, okay, Lord, I brought my journal, I'm a journaler, and I sat down by myself at first at a table. I said, okay, Lord, you told me to come, I'm here. I'm here. This is what I wrote. He just said, just wait. And he said, and as you're waiting and as people come, he said, you're not going to have to say anything. I do not want you to talk. Listen.
Wow.
And then, and anybody that knows me, Melissa, knows that, I love to talk. But because of how I even got the invitation, and then I showed up and not one person that I knew from church was part of this group, I said, you know what, this is something. Let me just do what he said. Let me just fast forward a little bit. A young man came to this one table. He was starting a church. He was moving it from Brooklyn to Staten Island. He was very heavy. But the Lord said, that's not it. That's not why you're here. But I let him talk and share his story. It was nothing. It was no exchange. So I was still quiet. And it was during praise and worship that Dr. Shakira came in. But at that point, I didn't know who she was, but she kind of ran and came right into praise and worship. And lunch was getting ready to start, after praise and worship. And the Holy Spirit said, okay, so lunch is about to start. I still don't want you to talk, which is really not my temperament. I'm like, okay, Lord, but I'm not going to talk. Okay. And he said, let them talk. So it was the young man and it was Dr. Shakira. And the moment she said what she did, I was intrigued. My whole heart leaped. I was just like, oh. And then I just remember hearing her, and all I wanted to do was hug her. And I think I did hug you that day. Didn't I hug you real good?
Yes.
But because it was a networking event, I wasn't going to try to take up her time. I wasn't going to try to do anything. And then I remember when I was leaving, she stopped me. She said, oh, wait, Charlene, could you put your name at the back of my book? And so, and I said this to her. I said, oh, the back of her book? And you know how sometimes when people give you the back of their book, it's just you're kind of going to write it, but they're going to forget it because, oh. So I put my name, email, cell phone number, my full name in the back of her book. And I kind of left. And I was like, okay, Lord, I went. It was good. it was some good word. I enjoyed Bishop Brana. I enjoyed Pastor, the connections, with the stuff I heard, because there was so many different events going on within the little event that I was blessed. So I didn't feel away. Mm-hmm. And then I remember meeting her, but she told me to write my name in the back of her book. And so, I didn't think anything of it other than, okay, fast forward. And I'm a teacher and, I'm doing my work and doing whatever. I get this text out of nowhere. So, hey, Charlene, I don't know if you remember me, but I met you at the C4 leadership conference, and I need to, hook up with you. I have a consultant. I want you to think about, being a consultant for my university. Mm-hmm. And I text her back, of course I remember you. And I want to say like the rest is history, but history is really just beginning. It's really just beginning, because as I learned more about the university, and I kind of, we kind of stumbled with this title, Director of Global Education, but there's so many different facets, and it's so like brand new. And So I told her, and I tell her often, that I saw your vision when you were talking about it at the C4 Leadership Conference. I said, I see it. I said, I'm interested. Our heart for students, and the fact that she has to talk about why students need to come to her university, because I want to go. I want to go. That it's affordable. It's the titles or the courses she offers for the degrees. The name of the degrees are relatable and timely. Like it is for us. It is for now. Wow. And I am so proud just to be a part. She's not even telling her whole story. She still worked full time as an executive in HR for the city of New York. She's a full-time employee and a mom of young men. And she's trying to do this university in excellence. Wow. And so like my bestie said, it's really no accident that God brought us together, and that she texted me, because I left the conference feeling okay. Like, oh, okay, Lord. But it wasn't anything. But then when she texted me, I'm like, this is it. This is it. That's why I got a random text to go to this conference.
A little bit right there, just a little small bit, because if anybody knows Char, I'm gonna tell it, because that's the part. When she got to that part, I said, "Oh, that's it." God told her to be quiet, and you said, "I really wanted to hug her," and I did. It's something. I'm telling y'all, if y'all see her on the street, let her hug you. Just let her hug you. I'm telling you. And that's it, right? Dr. Chimera was probably like, "Oh, okay, then that's her right there." She hugged me. I need that one.
I had to write at the back of her book, though.
But listen, so what I want to say too is you don't underestimate that back of the book.
That's what I'm saying. She said, "I know what this is."
No, she doesn't get it that the back of the book is where all the clean sheets of paper, and I could never lose her number.
Yes. Tell her, Dr.
That was the point. She was the reason why I was there.
That's right.
When you rip out a piece of paper, you don't rip out a piece of paper out the back.
You don't. You don't write your sermon notes from Sunday service. Nothing. She was in the back. Nothing else was in the back. So I knew once the Lord told me to reach out to her, that was it. I didn't have no problem finding her. I knew where it was. You don't know. That's the
well, both of y'all excellent example of what obedience looks like.
I'm telling you.
Now don't ask questions. Okay, guy.
It's beautiful, and now we have such a appreciation for the back of the book.
That's right.
Really, new mindset. No, you went to the back of the book, girl. The back of the book.
Dr. Shakira helped me with that, because we talked about it a minute. I did have to. We did, because I know how I felt writing it. And I knew she was making connections. So it wasn't like she was watching me write my name in the back of the book. She handed me the book and she said, "Could you write your name in the back of my book?" while she's talking to somebody else.
Right.
I wasn't letting you leave. When I saw you
right.
I went right on over.
That's right.
I love it.
Me too.
See,
And I did
you're right. That is a lesson, Brandy, because you know how we talk about how we listen and how God speaks to us. I'd have been like, okay, I put it in the back of the book, but then this right here would have been like, in the back of the book. Like, I have to. Okay, all right. But it's like you like a kid. You gotta ask.
But
you want it in the back.
But I didn't talk much. I might have said a little bit about I was being obedient to God. I didn't talk a lot.
Yes.
So I was maybe I did tell her I was a teacher or something.
Yes,
I don't know what I said to her. Oh, okay. But I know I didn't say a lot. I didn't talk a lot because I let you talk. And I was just like, this is why he doesn't want me to talk, because I need to listen and hear his heart. Look, and hear his heart for what he wants me to do. Like when she does reach out, like, you know what I'm saying? Like looking back and seeing how it all kind of transpired and how I felt about the back of the book. But the fact that she reached out and then once we connected, I'm like, OMG, Lord. And I see everything she says. Like immediately I said, girl, I'm for you. Like I am here.
Yeah. And he knew that you were going to help her with her vision. And she knew too. She knew.
We learning each other.
Yes.
Yes. What I wanted to ask about too, because there are two things when Dr. Shakira was talking. I just wanted to mention this because I think this was key too. You talked about how there was no end. And I didn't want to interrupt what you were saying, but I was like, wow, that's powerful when you can really process the journey and go through the journey and not even think about the end. There is no end. I'm just going to get to where God needs me to go, and I'm going to keep going. So I just wanted to mention that. And then I wanted to ask both of you, because Shar mentioned the relatable subject matter or degrees that are coming out of the university. Give us a few of those. And I'm going to say, whoop, hold a pin, pin it for 1 second. We're going to do a quick commercial break and then talk to us about what Exousia University offers. And you talked about that relatability. I want to hear more about that and let the audience hear more about that. So we're going to go to a quick commercial, everybody, and then we are coming back to talk to Shar and Dr. Shakira. Here we go. And we are back. So I'm not going to delay this any further. I am bringing everybody back in the room because we need to hear more about Exousia University. And I'm going to put the ladies back at the top here. Yes. All right. So we left for commercial break and we were just mentioning what Shar had talked about the just how relatable Exousia is, and it's what everybody needs too. I want to mention that too because that's how you stated it. So tell us about your vision behind what you offer at the university.
So Exousia University, right from the beginning, the Lord let me really get an understanding that kind of I was Exousia University. So in part, all of the pieces came together to be a part of my own story. And so, to go right into the degrees that we offer three areas or industries. And so one would be theology and degree programs that relate to that, like a master's or bachelor's in theology, a bachelor's in prophetic ministry, religious fine arts, and we're working on a sacred music degree for musicians and psalmists.
Wow.
Very nice.
And then we have human services that encompasses counseling degree, which is our clinical degree, where you would study like your DSM-5 and all of your mental health diagnosis. And we have within their psych degree as well, and a Christian coaching degree. Coaching is a big industry. And so we have a coaching degree program. And lastly, but not last, is business. And so we have a business and leadership degree, a pure leadership degree. We have a management, a marketing, and an entrepreneurship degree program. And so, the funny thing is, it wasn't until I did a launch party for the university that I kind of put the pieces together myself. Like, wait a minute, this is all the things that I've studied in the fields that I was in, but I didn't purposely do that. It kind of just came together. And so, but the real thrust of the university is that we are a school of theology and entrepreneurship. And so it's the bridging of your faith and your call to the marketplace. And so, really pushing people into that place. And so that's kind of where I found myself. I had, gotten divorced and suddenly single with two boys, and I had to figure it out. So taking a look at what I could do, what talents I had to create a side hustle, because they wanted to play football, and they were eating 4 and 5 beef patties and eating cereal out of a pot and stuff, and I was like,
yes,
I was crying. My biggest fear was the grocery store. At the mother, it was no joke. Not the sneakers, not the uniform. It was the grocery store.
Hey, Ma, ain't no snacks.
I am with you on that one.
And as I said, when you're a single mom, it's all on you. Every toothbrush, every toothpaste, everything, sneakers, underwears, everything. And that's not even the bills, right? And then I had sons who just knew, they believed God, but I just didn't understand it. They would tell me about school trips like 2 days before. Like, I got money to just buy you a whole suit. Like, how do you know I have money to do these things?
That's right.
But as a mom, you always have to stash. Learn to do my own nails, perm, lash. I did everything.
Come on now.
I made juice. You know what I mean? Like I did it all as a mom to make sure that things were okay. And so a part of this was kind of my story, starting a side hustle, helping people find jobs, doing their resumes, and then just, kind of birthing things that way. So, it's kind of the same journey, and that's kind of the push that we want for the men and women that come to the university. It's like, if you're here, it's not just education. It's to push you into what God has called you to do. Like, by the time you graduate, we want to know that either we helped you secure funding for your business, or you've written that book, or you've launched that ministry. If you're called to mental health services, let us give you, a private practice in a box. And now you got a private practice. Like, you got to leave having accomplished something. And
private
kind
practice
I
in a
love how you're
box.
flipping education on its head, though, because so many of these educational entities get away with charging people for something that essentially they get into the real world and can't use. But you still got to pay back 80, 90, 6 figures worth of student loans for a degree that you put in the work to get, but you don't have enough experience to get the job you want, or the right connections, or kiss the right butts in order to slide in the door where you're meant to be.
Yeah.
But you're putting something within reach, because I checked it out. Your prices are beyond affordable in that university, and you also offer classes and industries that are needed. Coaching, counseling, business,
Relevant,
entrepreneurship, all that is very much needed, especially within our community. And we got to stop doing it the way that we keep being told to do it, because obviously it hasn't been working for several generations now. So why not try something different?
That's right.
If I could jump in. So what Dr. Shakira did not tell you guys about her first fruit, because the university, I don't know if it's not a year old yet, is it, Doctor?
February.
So the command of the Lord told her, with her full-time executive HR self, 2 young men raising, to offer these degrees, whether it was a BA, a MA, a dual, the PhD, offer it for a limited time for $1,000. $1,000. And if they didn't have the $1,000, put them on a payment plan for the $1,000. And so when I heard that, and just being an entrepreneur, being a businesswoman myself, and knowing that you don't chase money, you chase people. You know what I mean? You want the best for God's people, and the money will come. I was just, how did you do that?
Wow.
It's not a whole lot of revenue yet. But she said, but Shar, well, I don't think she calls me Shar already. I'm sorry, she does. She's like, God, he told me to do it, and I kind of just did it. And a lot of them like paid it off, and some of them are like on a payment plan. But yeah, that's about it. And I just kind of reinvested it back in the university. Wow. So yeah, there's not a whole, like, we didn't get a whole lot of new students, but most of them like paid their $1,000. And I'm like, $1,000 for a freaking PhD, excuse my expression. Like, what? Why I didn't know about it to get in on that?
Me too.
And Melissa like knows me, so she's I'm investigating everything. I don't just be, I hear the Lord and everything, but I'm not so spiritually minded that I'm not gonna be tight with what I'm involved in. And when I looked up everything, I was like, this is a real degree. You could definitely go somewhere and put it on your resume and go get some job.
That's right.
But I think what drew me to that, not only like her heart for students, because we share that, wanting the best for them, but the fact that her obedience, and she's literally out there on faith. She's like on the lake. She out there on the lake. And she's this is new, and we're new to each other, but I just know God's heart is in this thing. It's international already. It's international already, even if it's small. And I always say, don't sweat small beginnings. I say that to her. We're figuring out like everything, but just what she's already done. I'm like still just blown away.
I'm blown away. It's only a year old. When I look at it, it looks like it's been established for a while. Like,
I admire her.
I'm not questioning anything God does. All I say is, look at God.
And it's so important to make people understand this is an accredited university. Accredited. Yeah. This is not something you're gonna find,
slow section. Mimi, what does accredited mean? What does that mean?
Yeah,
bona fide. That means it's state certified, that you are getting a legitimate degree. This is not one of those things that they making up in the back room and you make a copy. This is anything that's accredited or certified, meaning the state. There's a state authority over you that is verifying and certifying that this is legitimate.
Yeah. And don't be fooled out there, right? When it comes to other larger universities, all of their degrees are not accredited.
Not accredited.
So when you're going
Right.
somewhere, you need to make sure that you pay attention to that and look it up.
Absolutely.
So, come on.
And make sure it's current,
A round of applause
because
for that.
those schools are losing accreditation. Think
Yeah.
about
That's
that.
right.
Yeah.
And they're
They're
right.
losing accreditation.
Yeah.
And I think it's so
about
important.
Not a
a
job.
school of
Yep.
integrity here.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
talking about a school that is maintaining
Yeah.
themselves because they're built on integrity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Built on the
And,
Lord.
and the fact that you're you're giving this education and you're launching people also,
Right.
right? So that because people come out of school confused.
With the box.
Confused. Yeah. I mean, if you're not super specialized in what you study in school and you know that that's where you want to go, people are confused coming out of school.
Yes, they are.
So, I'm so
Right.
excited about this because when you talk about, all right, we're giving them the tools to start whatever it is that they went to the school for, so that they're going out in the world already ready to do what they've been called to do. And I just I'm gonna put that back up here too, because I just love that you said this. You're calling to the marketplace. Please see that, everybody. Please see that. This is purpose here for everybody that's involved in this university. This is huge.
If I could jump in again, Tracy.
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm getting as we move forward and we're working together, and I'm just like in prayer with her about the university and just the things of the university. Everyone's not called to this particular university. Everyone's not called. The heart of God is in this university.
Yes.
So for me, it blew my mind that she could offer it, like just starting out. Like she said, she got like 11,000 from Union Pay or whatever, and she invested it. That she could take all that she had and invest it in this, and still the Lord said, "Yeah, your first fruits, the first people that want to come, whether it's your friends and family, whatever, just offer it for like $1,000." And she just did it. $1,000 for a PhD?
Yeah.
And she did it. I'm totally invested. Like God, like that's God.
Yeah.
And it's standing.
Yeah.
Yes, I will be a part of it.
And since you said that too, do you find that the people that are enrolled, they're hungry? They're hungry for what it is that they're coming there for?
So I will say that I haven't experienced that with every student. I really haven't. I think that for one, there were people that I went to that I knew was earning a very low wage. And I knew that of course that degree was going to open up an opportunity and doors for them, and they rejected the opportunity. That's one. Two, I went to other people took advantage of the opportunity, but in stepping into it, were still so afraid, like that they never even opened their coursework. And so I had to deal with some of that, but the majority of the students realized the value and are doing their work. But I did still have to deal with people who did not believe. And then here you have Charlene that's like, I'm sorry. No. No, you are a grown person. Because she's high accountability. And so she's like, no, these people have to go. Like, and so, but yeah, I did deal with some people who still were battling their own fears and their own poverty, where God is like handing you a way out. Not having life insurance, not having health insurance, not having the capacity to work 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, come home to your children. That's what a degree offers you. And sometimes it may not be the highest wage when you start out, but it puts you in a different category. You're not working these weird hours, overnight shifts and all of those kinds of things. You steady yourself, you Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and then you let your gifts and your talents and your capacity in the position put you in, let God bless you. You'll get room for you once you get in the door.
Yeah.
But you're not even in the door. You still somewhere earning minimum wage, and you working all day. Don't know who in the house with your kids and those kinds of things. And, it's just not worth it. And so $1,000, there were, I told people, I gave them $150 payment plan.
Wow.
To be and for the most part, the people that I did, they took advantage of it. They studied and they're on track to graduation in November. But the other people, there are just not a lot, a few people that, just didn't, they just couldn't overcome whatever they were dealing with. And
some of the connecting things that you said, that it makes a difference. In the very beginning, you said you had to change your mindset. So you had to steady yourself before you created this. And now you're imparting that same stability into these people. You want them to be steady so they can have a platform and they can move.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm watching the clock, and before because it's almost there. How do somebody? If somebody's listening to this, how do they become part of your university?
Yeah.
So you can just go on exousiau.com and check out all the information about our university. You can follow us on social media. We're at Exousia_university. And if you type us in Facebook, you can find us at Exousia University there as well. But I would tell potential students, future students, just check us out. Check out our chapel. We have a chapel service on Thursdays. This is, like Chimera was saying, that's the tool that we use to deal with their mindset and to study their mindset. And so there is a time, an hour of prayer and exhortation and encouragement. There are other things that we're working on to sort of give them those supports that help them be successful in completing what they've started. Inevitably, when you decide to do something that is positive or something that God told you to do, you are going to encounter those obstacles and those challenges. And so we come together weekly to pray them through it, to push them through it, to encourage them.
That's so good.
What?
Oh, Dr. Shakira, I'm sorry. We got to stop the show, everybody, but you have to come back. We need to know the progress of Exousia U. We love everybody out there. We thank you for stopping by, and we're going to have Dr. Shakira and Shar come back to talk more about the university.